Hi everyone, I'm Mauro from Vox Studio here in the UK, and today in our audio tip section we will learn how to make our acoustic guitar tracks sound gigantic. I will share my method that I learned after years of try and mistake and watching the work of amazing mixing engineers like Dave Pensado and many others, and combine all of this stuff and my experience in the studio recording my own acoustic guitars, and I will share with you the way that I can achieve this gigantic sound, clear, deep and crystalline in our acoustic guitar tracks. Stay with me till the end of the video and I will share with you all the secrets about how to make your guitars sound great. Today we're gonna record and mix two different guitars. The first one is one Alvarez Artist AF75 cedar top folk body laminated rosewood back and sides guitar. This one was recorded with a microphone in the 12th fret and the other diagonal to the bottom of the guitar in a spread stereo pair of microphones. The other one is one STANFORD PSD20. It's the best guitar I ever played. It's a clone of a classic D25 Martin guitar. It's a dreadnought body and all solid rosewood guitar. I use a 60 nylon plectrum in both of the guitars and elixir coated strings. The PSD20 was recorded also in the same way that the Alvarez, but we add a third channel with the line signal recorded straight from the piezo installed in the bridge of the guitar. I installed the piezo from Journey Instruments and is one of the best piezos I ever tried in my life. Sounds amazing. Also, we use a couple of mics. The first one is the Aspen Pitman Design DT1. This is an excellent mic to track vocals and acoustic guitars. It's a condenser mic and is very affordable, but the quality of this mic is amazing. It's my go-to mic to record acoustic guitars. From the people of the Zeta Audio products, we're gonna use also the Stellar X2 mic. It's a big diaphragm condenser mic and it's a clone of the famous Neumann U87. The electronics are pretty good, the capsule is a K67 and the sound is very good. This is the mic that normally I use to record my voice in the tutorials. Okay, now as always a brief description of our Pro Tools session. In the top of the session you can see two mono tracks to record the Alvarez guitar. Then another stereo audio track to print the mix once it's finished. In the bottom of the session we get three mono tracks to record the PSD20, two of them for the mics and one to record the piezo signal through the cable. Then we have my master channel where I get the limiters and my meters. I skipped the part of the recording because it's a tutorial with more focus on the mix, but of course the recording is the essential part to get an amazing and gigantic acoustic guitar track sound. Okay, once I record both of the guitars, my Pro Tools session look like that. I have the two mono tracks of the Alvarez, one stereo track for the combination of these two channels, two mono tracks for the PSD20 for the mics, one another audio mono track with the line signal print, and then another stereo audio track with the three of the tracks print on it. Also, in my mixing window, you can see that all the tracks are already balanced. I panning hard left and right the Alvarez, the mono tracks of each of the mics, and also I open the stereo, the print of both of them. For the PSD, I hard panning left and right the two mics, and I leave the line signal just in the center. And I open, of course, in stereo the track where is print the three of the individual mono tracks. But also notice that my faders are all in zero. So it's basically one static mix. Later we will rebalance the whole entire mix, but for now we just leave it this way. The idea is to mix the guitars in a way that they are percussive, but they hang also the chord progression and of course the harmonic content of the song. The way we're gonna mix, leaving space in the mix for the guitars to cut through, but also for the other instruments like drum, bass, interact without collide in important frequencies. Now I will explain you my processing chain. This is a method that takes me years to develop, but once I try, I noticed that works in many different kind of guitars. It doesn't matter the shape, the body, the woods, but always the acoustic guitars sounds great when I use this method. First thing, I start by cleaning with the EQ the sound of the guitar. I cut around 100 Hz to avoid rumble, cable noise, and sometimes the guitar players follow the rhythm with the feet and these leak into the mics. To avoid all this, I just cut 100 Hz and then I notch the ugly resonance that I find in the guitar. Sometimes they are produced by the room or the space where we record our guitars. Then I reduce the harshness of the whole entire guitar sound using a tape plugin. This is because I like a lot how the guitars in the past were recording in tape in all those tracks of the 70s and 80s and also in good part of the 90s. They used to record the acoustic guitars in tape for this de-harnish kind of sound. You try to keep the needle around the zero and then play with the parameters, choose different speeds, different types of distortion and pick the one that you like the most. In my case is this one. Then I proceed to enhance the high end of the guitars. Normally is where we can find the percussive electro sound when hitting the strings. The 10,000 and the 5,000 Hz is where the percussive sound of the plectro hitting the strings, and also this adds clarity to the guitar track. But sometimes we tend to play the guitar using a lot of force. That's why I cut also around the 300 and 150 Hz and bring to front the general sound of the guitar. But of course, this brings to the front a little bit the harnish of the high end of the guitar. That's why I proceed the next to use a very mute compressor to tame a little bit and suffocate the harsh in the track. Normally I compress -1 dB of gain reduction and compensate with the makeup gain to place the guitar in the right place and still cutting in the mix. I love this plugin because it sounds great and it's free. But then again you can notice after the compression how the harnish is a little bit present there. So what I do normally is I proceed to tame the harnish in the top end of the guitar, but leave this crispiness in the transient in the top of the track. Like this sound crystalline, very present, crispy, clear, loud, not boomy, and is ready to cut in the mix. Then we repeat this processing in the other track, the track that we're recording with our second mic. As you can see, from the beginning, it's very important take in consideration the materials, the plectros, the strings, the size of the guitar, the body, the shape, all of this build the sound of your guitar. The election of the mics, the preamps, everything affects the tone of your guitar. That's why it's super important that you take in consideration every step in order to achieve this gigantic acoustic guitar sound that we are searching in this episode. In general, in audio, it's like this. Every single election, every single gear, every single equipment affects, good or bad, the final result of your audio. It's very important that also you try to sculpt your own sound. This is my technique, this is the way that I do it, but you feel free to experiment using the same method but adding your own flavor to this. Now we're gonna check how all the tracks sound together. I will be in silence and let you hear the whole process more in depth. In the original mix, I put the line signal very low because I like to hard panning the left mic, hard panning the right mic to the opposite direction, but this leave it in the center and place it there in a very low volume that you barely can hear that is there, but believe me, add a lot of dimension to the final sound of the acoustic guitar. I pull up the volume to let you hear, and then I rebalance again the mix. As you can hear, piezo mics, I don't know why, because I'm not an expert in acoustic, generates a lot of very ugly resonance. I kinda guess that maybe it's because they are placed on the wood of the instrument and the movement and the vibration of the wood produce very pronounced, unwanted resonance. But anyway, be aware of that and check all the time the resonance in your piezo signal. This Journey instrument piezo is one of the most amazing piezos I ever hear. Make that the sound of the guitar while it's in a live gig or in the studio sounds very natural and non-artificial like the most amount of piezos, even the more expensive that I hear before. And it's crazy that this piezo cost me around $40 only. Okay, we follow all the steps of the technique, use the tape, compress, tame the transients, and now it's time to rebalance the mix again and put all the things where they belong. Okay, let's try. This is our rebalanced mix, and you can hear this gorgeous sound. Gigantic, very beautiful, very clean, very crispy. It's a great job. Now, you're never again gonna get these flat and boring acoustic guitar tracks. I hope this method worked for you and you're learning something very valuable out of this. This was our audio tip of the week, and if you like what you see, subscribe, leave a comment, share, activate the bell for the notifications, and see you on the next one.